Here's Altidore trying to get on. Giovinco provides the finish.
All right, welcome to another episode of TFC True Fans Chat. My name is Michael. This here is Eti.
Felipe
and Ede.
Ene.
Or a day or Eid, whatever makes you comfortable.
Yeah. All right, so today we have four things we want to talk about today that's related to TFC. The first one is that they started the training camp last week, and also talk about the new CONCACAF Champions League format, and also the rumors about Giovinco and possible moving to China or something like that. Very interesting stuff. And also the fact that Toronto's just signed a new player, Chris Mavinga. So we'll talk about that. So the Toronto FC, they're training in LA, or at least California. I don't know if it's actually LA, but they're training there obviously because it's warmer there than it is here.
Right.
And they have 6 weeks basically.
Bunch of wimps. They should be training in the cold,
Yeah.
Make them
That's
short.
right. They're ready for March.
When they need to,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They'll train in the cold when they need to.
Please. They probably have like some indoor facility with some nice heaters on.
They train outside. I've seen
when
them.
it's warm.
Yeah, but no, they have 6 weeks, so they won't be there. I don't know if they'll be there all those 6 weeks, but they do have like some. They play like kind of preseason kind of like practice games with some lower teams, like college teams, basically. Because right now they have basically a lot of
preseasons, man.
no, because
I'm just kidding.
they have players that they haven't
College
even
teams.
signed yet. They have players that they haven't even signed yet, like those people that they drafted, right?
Yeah.
That first round draft pick. What was his name again?
yeah.
Brandon Aubrey, right?
Yeah.
Notre Dame, right?
Yeah.
From Notre Dame, yeah.
So he's not really technically on the team because he's not signed, right? So they picked him, sure, but they're testing out their young players, see how they play with the older ones, and possibly sign them. So that's basically what they're most likely doing. There's like certain phases to their training camp. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens during this 6 weeks. But obviously there's this thing about China being interested in Giovinco, which is kind of worrying if you're a TFC fan, right? You don't want him to leave, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So basically what happened is Giovinco's agent said, we'll talk to Toronto and we'll go deep in the situation and the will of Giovinco. The bid from China is very important.
Yeah, it's a big scare when Giovinco himself says that he's going to listen to offers from China. Because it means that, we made it to the final and you took me off. I'm about to cut.
Yeah. I don't
That's
know if it's about that. I don't know.
If you look at
No,
how
I know it's
pissed
not
off,
about that.
looking at how pissed off he was, it seems like he's maybe not going to forgive the coach, right?
No,
There could have been a fallout for all we
He's
know.
not going to make a decision as big as that solely on that game.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe he was feeling the MLS is not up to it anymore, and I'm pretty sure China is offering some bank.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
So,
Seeing how they've been grabbing.
signing Oscar, Jackson Martinez.
Jackson Martinez.
Sever's getting how much? £616,000 a week, bro.
Yeah, but because of that, because Chinese,
616.
Yeah, bro.
He's making a lot of money.
Oh my gosh! It's
but
more
the
than
thing
Rooney.
is, the Chinese league they realize that teams are doing this. It's shelling out huge amounts of cash for European players. So they made like a rule where Chinese teams they're limited in terms of the foreign players that they can play on the field. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it used to be more relaxed. So now players are kind of more. They have to play. They're forced to play more Chinese players in their team.
Spain had the same
So-
rule. Germany had the same rule. England had the same rule. It doesn't stop them from bringing players in.
Well, yeah, it does because
No, it doesn't.
More than-
England
yeah.
had the exact same rule, and Arsenal once played a team with no Englishman in it.
Yeah,
So it really doesn't stop them from bringing players
no,
in.
mathematically it does because they had.
It sounds like
they-
it does, but they always slip also these things. As I just said, Wenger had a team.
This is China.
Listen,
though. I don't know.
Thierry Henry said that the first language in Arsenal once was French. In an English team, the first language was French.
Yeah.
So that's exactly. I mean, yes, like in I know in Spain, I don't know England still has. In Spain, they do have that rule, and that's why you see a lot of Spanish team have homegrown Spanish players. Same thing in Germany. A lot of German team have. Also, it could be because those leagues are not as big as the EPL, because the EPL is one of the first leagues, right? So China being a new league too, obviously going to bring a lot of players. And I mean, it's not like the same team signing everybody. So just because let's say a team was playing like 30 Chinese players at a time, doesn't mean that team cannot have Giovinco as one of the non-Chinese
but they'd
players.
have to have him, and most likely only him in terms of starting.
Impossible.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, that's what they said.
They're trying to tell me that
'Cause-
the rule states that 8 players on the starting lineup must be homegrown.
Yeah, for sure.
Out of 11 players.
whatever. Fact check. You know?
Anyway, even though that is the rule, it doesn't stop them from trying to get Giovinco. Maybe they need that one non-foreign guy,
true,
right?
No, true.
Yeah.
So let's not use that as a comfort for us saying.
Yeah.
Also depends.
Well,
on
the thing
team,
is,
right?
this is what Giovinco said about it, and I quote that he said, "I'm happy here in Toronto," and to be honest, who wouldn't be? I mean, this is Canada. It's like you can. It's not like China. Like there's no comparison,
bro.
It's a huge comparison.
You
right?
can see the
What's
sun,
the
right? I
sign?
mean,
You can see the sun. Wow. Yes, they're
Right.
choking over there.
And then he said like,
I said you can see the sun.
and then he goes.
Shots
up,
at China, bro.
Yo, watch out, man. We'll be
hopefully I don't get a
taking
drone strike on me or something. You know,
yeah, don't worry.
Anyways,
Isn't
go.
Egypt like banned in China or something? I don't know.
I think we're
Egypt?
safe. We're safe. It's okay.
Hey, we're not talking about
Proceed.
North Korea here, man.
Oh, yo, don't
Carry
worry,
on,
man.
carry on.
Don't bring
Anyway.
it up.
Yeah, he obviously he says that he still feels the pain from the final, and that was a huge disappointment in not only the city but just like Canada. You know, Canada has never gone that far in terms of soccer, or football, and he also mentions that the market in China is on fire, and I've been told that there's interest. So we'll see. We'll talk about it with Toronto. I'm happy here, and we'll have to see what the club wants to do. My agent has told me about an offer, but he hasn't told me which club it's from. So there's definitely something going on there.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure, as we were saying, it's probably a lot of money on the table, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess it'll be glory with TFC or just money there. Who knows what he'll
Yeah.
choose.
Basically,
Isn't Giovinco the highest paid soccer in the MLS right now? I mean, soccer
I
player?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
I believe he's the highest paid.
But definitely Chinese. They're offering
Yeah.
much more than that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no,
Basically-
there's no way TFC can compete with those leagues. And
Yeah.
they can.
so would you say that if he did leave, it's purely on money?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah,
Maybe
I
not,
don't
because he came here to do what he's going to do if he moves there. He came here because it's a league that needed some help, for lack of a better word, and he felt like I could be
know. And he wasn't.
That's why
playing.
be a
That's
star.
right.
Yeah,
And,
he
he,
wasn't-
and he
wasn't
really
playing-
lit it up enough
yeah,
to do the league a
he wasn't
favor,
playing
right?
well in Juve. He wasn't getting played in Juve,
Yeah.
rather. He knew he could come in, perform, be outstanding, get the love of the fans. He did that.
Yeah.
And now, if he looks at China, it's like he could do the exact same thing there. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
If it depends on what his goal is, man. If he wants to
True.
play soccer, he can play soccer both ways. If
Yeah.
he wants to make money, he could probably make more money there. But we don't really. If you think about it, is there really something keeping him here?
I think so. Yeah, because he has a young family. He recently he had like a child, and I don't know if he wanted to grow up.
He has a young family now. Which is closer to Italy, Canada or China?
Probably Canada.
Is it?
Maybe.
Even like
Depending on the,
socially.
Canada's like 7-hour
depending on
flight
the,
there.
Culturally, it's culturally closer. As
No, I
well.
mean
Oh,
distance.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
definitely no.
definitely
There's
Canada,
definitely no
definitely.
literal.
I think
Italy.
he'd love to raise his
Definitely
child in
Canada.
Canada.
Sure?
I mean,
Yeah, compared to China, I
Definitely.
think so.
raising the child in China
So-
would be traumatic.
No, I mean
sorry.
distance-wise though. To fly to China and fly to Canada from Italy.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
What's farther? Let's see.
Canada.
China.
But yeah, we'll see. And definitely within a couple weeks, maybe even more.
But with the money he's earning, well, he gonna fly back.
yeah, that is true. Get
Yeah.
his own private jet. And
But
stuff.
yeah, I don't think that's gonna be a major factor in his decision.
Yeah.
I don't think so at all. Because
You mean like lifestyle?
Mhm.
Really?
I don't think so, because
Not even with the family?
he moved this running from Italy to Canada. So
No, his child was born here. So in a way, it was only him and his wife or
Mhm.
partner. Or whatever.
Let's think about this. What would have to go through his head to stay in Toronto? What kind of stuff would he have to?
That seems like the only reason this child.
Would he
was
just
born
want to
here.
win? I mean,
But then
would
again,
it be?
yeah, how old is this child?
Stability, I guess. Is like the lifestyle
What about
here
winning
is-
though?
is
Doing for
free- you're
doing
free,
for
right?
Canada what he wanted to do to try to win the trophy. If he knows they're good and they can do it, just to prove that he can, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he
Unfinished
has a lot of respect
Yeah.
also in the clubhouse and among the players. I think that they're probably talking, saying, "Okay, we still have Michael Bradley on board. We still have Altidore. Like,
Yeah.
let's do one more run and see what the heck, you know."
To be honest, before he came to Toronto, I didn't really know much about Giovinco, so I don't know what his personality was before. Was he a guy that really looked at where the money was and went where the money is, or was he more about just did he have good
I think
values? And
he
stuff?
Well, that's what he did when he came in TFC. He went where the money was.
Well, then there you go. He might go to China if he goes to that.
I don't
Unless
know,
He changed, unless he changed ways.
That's
Because
true. Yeah.
I feel
If you look at where he came
moved
from.
because like he wasn't like he was with the team he was before. He didn't play that much games,
Yeah.
right? So I believe he just came here to like
To play.
games and to show that he has all these qualities. And he wasn't getting picked in the national squad, right?
No, that's
Until he moved here, that he started getting picked into the
Right.
national squad.
No, that's right. If you look at the reasons he came to TFC, was that he couldn't break through in Italy.
Yeah.
They were paying him a lot more when he moved to TFC,
Yeah.
and he would have gotten a chance to like be a star.
Yeah.
If you look at those three reasons, you compare it to the offer from China. He's definitely going to play the same level in China. He's going to make more.
Yeah.
He's going to be a star.
Hmm.
So if those were the reasons he came to TFC,
Right.
Yeah.
there is a possibility of him going to China.
I guess the other question is just the language and the culture and the emotions. Like as you
Yes.
say, he feels happy here.
Yeah.
Well, would he actually want to live in China, being
Yes.
still young? You know, like he could go to China when he's 35 and still make all the money in the world, right?
All
So
the other-
if you're still under 30, which he is, he could consider a bigger
Yeah.
club
Well,
or
on a normal day, I would say that's true. Like no young player want to go to China, but
Yeah.
Oscar just went to China.
yeah.
Oscar is
Like-
20 what? 4?
24, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think he'll come back, but who knows? You know.
We'll see.
yeah, I mean he might come back, but he's just gonna make a few bang and then come back and play.
Do any of you, I guess, like personally want him to stay or leave?
No, I want him to stay.
Yeah.
I want him
I think
to stay.
anyone, like, yeah. No one
I
wants
want him to stay because I think that he was the backbone of our attack in many
I think
ways, right?
He brings
So-
something to the field that many fans go there to watch, right? I remember when he announced that he was moving to TFC, to Toronto, to play for TFC. All my friends in high school, they were all like excited. Well, the ones that enjoyed
Knew,
soccer
yeah.
anyway, and they were most of them were Italian, so
Right,
they
yeah.
were all like, "Oh yeah, he's coming to Toronto, and I
Yeah,
can
that's
go
big.
watch the game more." I'm like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, exactly."
Yeah.
So he brought something. I'm guessing he brought the city together, in a sense. I remember when he landed in the airport, there was
Yeah.
there were a lot of people
A lot of
there
people, yeah.
to like take pictures and get autographs.
Yeah.
It was amazing when he.
It really did bring the fan base together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really exciting for Toronto. So
Mhm.
it would be nice to see him contribute one more year, right?
Yeah.
Let's not think about if we want him to leave. Let's think about if he does leave. What does TFC do after that?
that is-
Well, they most likely get like a huge transfer fee
Yeah.
that they can
That's the
use.
thing. So if Giovinco leaves, I'm thinking TFC should sign 2 players.
I don't think they can sign 2 designated
It
players.
doesn't
Well, it's not
two-
designated.
It doesn't have to be 2 designated
True.
players. One designated one and one good player.
We can take Dempsey.
Yeah, I just
Right.
with the money they're paying him and the money they would get from him, they could definitely sign somebody big.
yeah, definitely for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see when we get there. Like, I'm sure we'll get the decision will be made within a month.
The question
Other
is,
than
who
that.
would they sign? Right, as we're saying, somebody from Europe, somebody
Well,
from
we'll see,
MLS.
yeah. I mean,
Sign Nani.
so right now, as we speak,
That's
Giovinco's
true,
on
they
the
could do
team.
that.
So,
He will change the game in this league.
anyways,
Manny.
who Toronto did sign actually? Toronto signed yesterday, which was Monday, January 30th. They signed this guy who is from France, but he plays for Democratic Republic of Congo, and his name is Chris Mavinga. He's 25 years old, and he was signed for a 3-year contract with TFC. He plays defense. I read that he plays usually left back, but also can play center back. And apparently he basically, they say that he'll bring depth to the back line, and he's actually played in the youth squad of PSG and it was PSG and Liverpool.
Well,
And then later on, but he never actually played for their senior teams. Later on, he played in Belgium and France for a bit, and yeah, now he's here. The funny thing is,
25, eh?
yeah.
Okay.
The funny thing is, when I looked him up on Google, right, I googled his name, Chris Mavinga highlight. There's literally not really any highlights you can see, and the highlights that are there are literally own goals. Like, I'm not even kidding. All like the first 4 videos are own goals.
I mean,
Really?
When I heard the name Chris Mavinga, I was like, why the hell would TFC sign Chris Mavinga? I see you said you look him up, you see 3 own goals. That's the first thing you see.
What do you think about him?
I don't know. I don't.
Well, I hope he doesn't score on goals, man.
It's not even about that. I don't get why they signed a center back.
What, is he
Well,
center back or
okay,
I think he's
left
left
back?
back?
Is it left back
Well,
or center
I
back?
think he can't play left back.
I don't. But they don't
Yeah.
need to sign a defender.
I don't know.
They just drafted one and they signed another one.
Well,
They drafted, but they didn't sign him
yeah.
yet. So
Yeah. Why don't you sign your draft?
maybe he's not good enough. I don't know.
They'll have to try him out first in the youth squad, right? Probably.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
think
sure,
they needed to sign a defender though.
Yeah.
It's more to me. It's like a waste of money.
That
Yeah.
is true. They needed a midfielder.
Didn't they
Exactly.
sell?
Last
Didn't
time.
they sell some defenders or get rid of some defenders? Didn't some guys go
Oh.
to some other club? Like, what are the names? Some guys-
Defenders? No, I don't think any defenders left. Actually, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah. So yeah, we don't know much about him. So I guess now it's just a moment. Now it's just a matter of, I guess, looking to see what he can do and if he will play on the starting lineup. I mean, most likely he will because they signed him.
I just signed a man who has like 3 own goals this moment.
Maybe they didn't see the highlights. Maybe they went to the good games, not the bad games.
Mhm. And I guess the one of the last topics that we can touch on is the CONCACAF, which is the Federation of Soccer in North and Central America. Their Champions League has a new format, which affects Toronto FC because Toronto FC won the Canadian Championship last year, which qualifies them for the next CONCACAF Champions League. Yeah, and so the way
So the
it works.
2017 CONCACAF, they're qualified. Okay.
Yes, but they changed it now. So now it's kind of weird. There's like 2 kind of formats, and the way it works is that Canada now automatically make it to the second phase, because
So they don't
and
have to play.
so
group
they're not
stages.
yeah. So basically they're not playing group stages, which would have happened this summer. They're now playing just the actual
Like
the
round of
knockout
16 or whatever.
round of 16, yeah, and that's next year. So they're basically, there's like, it's weird the way it works in Canadian Championship. If you win the Canadian Championship, you play in the Champions League 2 years later. So there's kind of like this weird gap. So I don't know how they're going to have to close it off some way. Like there has to be 1 year where a team wins the Canadian Championship and doesn't make it to this CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah.
So that's just
They
something.
do it like Europe, man.
Yeah.
It's easier to understand with the.
No, the reason why Europe is different is because you have those leagues like Liga MX, Liga MX.
They even have the
Mexican.
Israeli league.
That and those leagues they have if you don't know they have 2 seasons
Oh yeah,
in a
yeah,
year.
yeah.
They have like the spring and the summer, or
Yeah.
is it the summer and the winter?
Mexican
I've
league or
always
what?
talked
Yeah,
about it. Remember
a lot of-
the Atlas. He always told me that.
Yeah, there's like 2 leagues
they
in
have,
the
like,
year.
Yeah, they
So
have
I
2
think-
seasons in 1 year. Like,
Yeah.
how does that like? It's
Yeah.
weird. It's a weird system.
So because of that, I think that might have an influence of
That is
how it works. Because a lot of
that makes sense.
these countries have different kind of leagues and the way they work. In Europe, usually it's basically, you start the season
In like
in August, and then you end in what, like
May.
May, yeah. I think all European leagues are like that. So for them, it's pretty easy to organize it.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. So that's something interesting to mention. I was excited to see them play, to be honest, in the Champions League this year, but we'll see. I guess how we play next year. Hopefully Giovinco's still there. I don't
I hope so.
know. Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he'll be looking at winning the actual European Champions League then.
That's right.
Well, you never know. Champions
You
League
never
is a
know.
Champions League.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all for now. That's all we have. Definitely some interesting weeks to come forward in terms of Giovinco, and will they sign any players? Will they drop any of the
Hopefully they
players?
sign a new player. We're not sure if the signings
creative
are done
midfielder?
yet, you know?
Yeah, you got. We still need that creative midfielder we're talking
We
about
need to
again.
Yeah.
stress
Yes.
this out. TFC, if you're listening, creative midfielder, please.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
it's hard for a team to sign a player when they just made it to the finals,
That is true.
Because they do feel like they are one of the best
Yeah.
teams in the division right now. So,
Well,
but
this was their best season ever.
Yeah, as we're saying, right? It really all depends on Giovinco. If Giovinco leaves, okay, they're probably going to sign, right? But,
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
but with Giovinco staying, I think they could keep the chemistry together,
Yeah.
trying to win it again. They were like inches away, right? I mean,
Yeah, I
one
think
penalty kick away,
crossbar away.
one crossbar away.
Hey, one
The
glove
hell.
save away. That little flex
Oh
with the
my
arm. was
gosh.
amazing. Yeah,
Still
but even
can't
if
believe
Giovinco
this.
leaves, I think Ricketts. I mean, I don't know why we're talking about this right now because Giovinco's still on the team. But if Giovinco leaves, Ricketts is a good
Oh, yeah.
substitute.
Yeah,
He's a
it
good
is.
super
He's pretty
sub.
good.
Good
It is.
super sub.
That's what I'm saying. If Giovinco lives, just sign like an amazing creative midfielder and like
There you go.
play Ricketts, bro.
Yeah, Ricketts
Get that
can finish.
Chiagamotta guy here.
Nah, he's a DM, man.
Okay.
More like a Marlon Pjanic kind of, change the entire dynamic of the game.
Yeah.
But oh well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. If you guys liked what you heard and like what you saw,
We
make
should
sure
have
you
got
like
Oscar.
and subscribe. Make sure you give us
That's the
some
creative
feedback.
midfield.
You know, if you want to feature on our show, let us know. We can definitely need
Trolls.
We need to have some true TFC
some
fans
trolls.
on this show.
Now it's Michael Bradley. Here's Altidore trying to get on. Giovinco provides the finish.